We finally got to witness that long-awaited Fallout season finale, and I have to say I absolutely loved every second of it. If anything, it's made me even more hyped for Season 3. So many questions are already racing through my mind. What's next for the war spreading across the wasteland? What unexpected twists are waiting for the ghoul in Colorado? And most importantly, what exactly does Phase 2 set in motion by Steph have in store? Let's dive into the biggest moments from the Season 2 finale and what they could mean going forward. First up, Lucy and Hank's confrontation. I'm not even exaggerating when I say I watched this scene completely stunned. At first, it felt like Lucy wouldn't be able to shut down the system. But after everything she's endured beyond the vault, it's clear. She's not the same person anymore. Her exchange with Hank was genuinely heartbreaking. It's still hard to process how far he's gone relying so heavily on mind control technology that he's willing to use it on his own daughter. And just when things were about to take a dark turn, the ghoul stepped in and saved her. But he didn't stop there. He gave Lucy the power to decide her father's fate. Lucy seized that moment and tried to flip the situation, attempting to implant the chip into Hank. But just as she tried to reach whatever humanity he had left, Hank activated his own chip, effectively destroying what remained of himself. So yes, his plan was stopped, but the real danger? It's only just beginning. This kind of technology is spreading, and more people across the wasteland are starting to experiment with it. And one small but important detail. Did you notice Lucy's finger with that gangrene? That can't be a coincidence. I really hope she's not slowly turning into a ghoul. But it's definitely not a good sign. Now let's talk about the ghoul. This one really hit hard. When we saw that Barbara's capsule was empty, it was honestly devastating. I never expected a perfect ending for him, but I did hope for some kind of closure. Instead, we got that Colorado postcard, and suddenly everything changed. Now he believes Barbara and Janie might still be alive. And honestly, I hope that's true because otherwise everything he's done so far, waking up Mr. House, heading toward Colorado, it would all feel meaningless. Next, Maximus. I've said it before and I'll say it again. His storyline is one of the strongest in the entire series. And this episode just proved it again. Maximus showed us that being a knight isn't about wearing armor. It's about having courage. Facing Deathclaws with nothing but a shield and a pipe? That's something no one else would even attempt. Sure, he was moments away from death, but he proved he's the real deal. And right when all hope seemed lost, NCR soldiers and veteran rangers arrived just in time to save him. And that reunion with Lucy at the end? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. But heading into Season 3, his journey feels like it's about to become even bigger. Now let's get into the biggest twist, Steph. I did not see that coming. The possibility that Steph could actually be Lucy's mother? That completely changes the entire story. Especially now that we know she was once married to Hank. But the real shock came with her message to Vault-Tec, instructing them to move forward with Phase 2 after becoming a target inside the vault. That moment basically confirms it. Season 3 is setting up a full-blown dictatorship within the vaults. And now the big question: what happens next? Season 3 is clearly building toward a massive war across the wasteland. Multiple factions are stepping into the spotlight. The Legion, now under new leadership, is ready to unleash chaos on the new California Republic. The Enclave is quietly working behind the scenes on something that could wipe out everyone. The Brotherhood of Steel is entering the battlefield too, especially after that chilling Destroyer is Born moment. And of course the NCR will be fighting just to survive. Meanwhile, Mr. House is playing his own game, carefully securing control over Vegas. Everything is pointing toward a full-scale conflict, and honestly, I can't wait to see it unfold. As for Lucy and Maximus, there's a strong chance they'll set out together to find the ghoul. After everything he's done, Lucy definitely owes him that much. But Colorado? That's going to be a nightmare. It's likely filled with hostile factions, mutated horrors, and dangers we haven't even seen yet. We might even watch the ghoul searching vault after vault, all while being hunted by the Enclave. And then there's Phase 2. This might be the most terrifying part of what's coming. Steph is on the verge of becoming a ruthless dictator, with direct backing from Vault-Tec. We could see strict enforcement, extreme shortages, and possibly even deaths inside the vault. Chet's fate doesn't look promising. And entire vault populations could be in serious danger. Lucy might even take it upon herself to stop it all. Finally, Norm. Just when it seemed like his story was over, those radroaches ended up saving him, which was completely unexpected. At first, I was surprised he didn't try to save the others. But when you really think about it, survival changes people. Now Norm has two clear goals: find his sister and help Claudia recover. And honestly, I think he might actually succeed. As for the release date, nothing has been officially confirmed yet, but reports suggest filming for Season 3 could begin around May 2026. So realistically, we're probably looking at a release somewhere in mid to late 2027. And now I want to hear from you. What did you think about the Season 2 finale? And what are your predictions for Season 3? We just witnessed one of the most shocking endings in Fallout. And if you think that was intense, Season 3 is about to take things to a completely different level. Because this finale didn't just wrap things up. It quietly set the stage for something much bigger, much darker, and far more dangerous than anything we've seen so far. The war is coming. The vaults are no longer safe. And the people we trusted the most? They might be the real threat. Let's break down exactly what happened and why Season 3 is going to be absolutely insane. The finale wastes no time throwing us straight into chaos, and everything revolves around one core idea: control. Not just survival, not just power, but complete control over people's minds, choices, and futures. And that's exactly where Lucy's story takes a terrifying turn. From the very beginning, we've watched her grow from someone who believed in the system into someone who questions everything. But in this episode, it finally feels like she crosses a line she can never come back from. Her confrontation with Hank isn't just emotional. It's symbolic. It represents the collapse of everything she once believed in. At first, it seems like she's still holding on to hope, still trying to reach the version of her father she remembers. But the more he talks, the clearer it becomes that Hank is no longer the same person. He's fully consumed by the idea that control is the only way forward. And the scariest part? He genuinely believes he's doing the right thing. That's what makes this moment so powerful. It's not just a villain versus hero situation. It's a clash of ideologies. Lucy is fighting for freedom, while Hank is willing to sacrifice it completely in the name of order. And just when it feels like Lucy is about to lose everything, the situation flips in an instant. The arrival of the ghoul changes the entire dynamic, but not in the way you'd expect. Instead of simply saving her, he forces her to make a choice. And that choice says everything about who Lucy is becoming. She doesn't hesitate. She takes control of the situation and tries to turn Hank's own weapon against him. But this is where things get even darker. Hank activating his own chip isn't just a desperate move. It's a final statement. He would rather destroy himself than lose control. And in doing that, he proves Lucy right, but at a devastating cost. This moment doesn't feel like a victory. Feels like the beginning of something much worse. Because if one person is willing to go that far, how many others are thinking the same way? That's the real danger the finale is hinting at. The technology isn't the problem, the mindset behind it is. And now that this idea has been unleashed into the wasteland, there's no putting it back. Everywhere you look, the seeds of conflict are already growing. Different factions, different beliefs, all heading toward one inevitable outcome: war. And Lucy is right in the middle of it, whether she's ready or not. But what makes this even more unsettling is the subtle details the episode leaves behind. Small moments that are easy to miss, but feel incredibly important. Like the condition of Lucy herself. She's been through so much, exposed to so many dangers, and now there are signs that something might be changing within her too. It's not obvious yet, but it's enough to raise questions. Is she still the same person we started with? Or is the wasteland slowly turning her into something else? Because if that's true, then her journey isn't just about stopping others anymore. It's about holding on to what's left of herself. And that might be the hardest battle of all. If Lucy's story shows us how dangerous control can be, then the ghoul's storyline proves something even more unsettling. How powerful hope can become, even when it's built on something fragile. Because everything changes the moment he opens that capsule. Up until now, the ghoul has been driven by one thing: closure. Whether it was revenge, answers, or simply finding out what really happened to his past, it always felt like he was moving toward an ending. But instead of closure, what he finds is something far more complicated. An empty capsule. No body, no confirmation, nothing. Just silence. And for a brief moment you can actually feel the weight of that realization. After everything he's been through, after all the years of searching, it leads to nothing. That should have been the end of his journey. But then comes that one small detail, the Colorado postcard. And suddenly everything changes. Because now, instead of closure, he has something far more dangerous: hope. The idea that Barbara and Janie might still be alive completely reshapes his purpose. It gives him a reason to keep going. A reason to believe that everything he's done wasn't for nothing. But at the same time, it also puts him on a path that could destroy him. Because hope in the wasteland isn't something simple or comforting. It's something that can lead you straight into danger. And the ghoul knows that. That's what makes this so powerful. He's not naive. He understands the risks. He knows that this could all be a lie, a trap, or just another dead end. But he chooses to believe in it anyway. And that decision tells us everything about who he really is beneath all the scars and brutality. He's not just surviving anymore. He's searching for something worth living for. But here's where things start to feel even bigger. Because his journey to Colorado isn't just a personal mission. It's a setup for something much larger in Season 3. Colorado isn't some empty, forgotten place. If anything, it could be one of the most dangerous regions we've seen so far. Different factions, unknown threats, and possibly even hidden vaults that haven't been explored yet. And if the ghoul is heading straight into that, then he's walking into a war zone without even realizing it. And he won't be alone for long. Because the more noise he makes, the more attention he's going to attract. Especially from groups like the Enclave, who are already moving in the shadows. If they find out what he's searching for, or worse, if they already know something about Barbara and Janie, then the ghoul could become their #1 target. And that raises a terrifying possibility. What if this isn't just a coincidence? What if the postcard wasn't left there as a clue, but as bait? Because if someone wanted to lure him out, to push him toward a specific location, this would be the perfect way to do it. It plays directly into his emotions, his past, and his one remaining weakness. And if that's true, then the ghoul isn't just chasing hope. He's being pulled into something carefully planned. Something much bigger than he realizes. And then there's Mr. House. We can't ignore the fact that the ghoul played a role in waking him up. That decision alone could have massive consequences moving forward. Mr. House isn't the kind of figure who just sits back and does nothing. He's strategic, patient, and always thinking several steps ahead. So the question is, what is he planning? Because if he's active again, then Vegas is about to become one of the most important locations in the entire story. And if the ghoul is heading toward Colorado while Mr. House focuses on Vegas, we could be looking at multiple storylines slowly building toward one massive collision. That's what makes this part of the finale so exciting. It doesn't just give us answers. It opens the door to endless possibilities. The ghoul's journey could lead to emotional closure, or it could lead to something far darker. He might find what he's looking for, or he might discover that some truths are better left buried. Either way, one thing is clear. His story is far from over. If the ghoul's journey is driven by hope, then Maximus's story is driven by something even more powerful: proof. Proof that he's not just pretending to be a knight, but that he actually deserves to be one. Because this episode puts him in a situation where there's nowhere to hide. No armor to protect him, no backup plan, no easy way out. It's just him, his instincts, and a threat that should have been impossible to face alone. And for the first time, we truly see who Maximus is without anything supporting him. And honestly, this is where he shines the most. From the beginning of the series, Maximus has always been caught between who he wants to be and who others expect him to be. There were moments where he doubted himself, moments where he made questionable choices, and times when it felt like he was only surviving because of luck. But in this finale, all of that disappears. Because when he stands in front of that Deathclaw, there's no hesitation. It doesn't matter that he's outmatched. It doesn't matter that he could die at any second. What matters is that he stands his ground. And that single moment says more about him than anything we've seen before. He doesn't fight because he thinks he'll win. He fights because someone has to. And that's what makes him different. The way he uses nothing but a shield and a pipe isn't just impressive. It's symbolic. It strips away everything artificial and shows us the core of his character. This isn't about training, titles, or recognition. This is about courage in its purest form. And even though the situation looks hopeless, he refuses to back down. But what makes this scene even more intense is how close he comes to. In fact, it feels like it's only